All right, thanks for joining us today. We are going to look at flight, carry, and passenger today. Sometimes players get a little bit confused on what kind of figure can carry and how flight works. So we're going to break it down. We're going to look at it in relation to the 2021 rules, and we will look at each piece of these three different things. We're going to look at them individually. And hopefully by the end, you'll have an idea of how they interact and what your figure can and cannot do. First one we're going to look at is carry. It's kind of the base that the other ones are based off of. Carry states that before beginning movement, you may choose one adjacent friendly character of smaller size. Immediately after moving, place the chosen character adjacent if possible, and it can't be given a non-free action this turn. To carry, neither character can be holding an object or pick one up. Okay, so if we break that down, the key things here is the character you're going to carry has to be adjacent before you begin your movement, and it has to be a smaller size than your current size. Carry is an inherent ability that any figure can use, but again, it's only to carry a character of smaller size. We're going to take a look at immediately after moving and place. We'll look at that at the end of this video and how that comes into play. The other thing to point out at this point is a character that was carried can't be given a non-free action this turn. That means after it's been carried. So if your character has been given a non-free action, that's okay. You can carry it. After being carried, it cannot be given a non-free action. And also note that neither character can be holding or pick up an object. Looking at the size chart will give us an idea of what you can and cannot do with just the inherent carry ability. It's kind of all based on size. The little character, the tiny size, cannot carry anybody smaller. So an inherent carry ability on a tiny character just by itself doesn't do anything since there's nothing smaller than a tiny. Your standard character can carry tiny characters. Your giant character can carry tiny characters and standards. And your colossal character can carry tinies, standards, and giants. Now, the second thing we're going to look at is the passenger phrase. So passenger X says that this character can use the carry ability to carry up to X characters, including characters that are the same size. So we've already looked at what the carry ability does. That's kind of represented in that top chart. So you can always carry the smaller character, but passenger allows you to also be able to carry characters the same size. So your tiny character that has passenger can carry other tiny characters. Your standard character with passenger can use the inherent carry ability to carry smaller characters, but can also carry standard characters. Your giant can carry the smaller characters and can carry other giants. And your colossal character can carry the smaller characters, and if it has passenger, it can carry other colossals. Now we're going to take a look at flight. Now, passenger can be given from other effects or traits or abilities, but flight does a couple things here. It's going to give us improved movement abilities, and it's also going to give us passenger 1. So flight is one way that your character can have passenger. In this case, passenger 1. The improved movement abilities, we have improved movement elevated, which means the character can move up or down across elevated terrain without using the elevation transition squares. Has improved movement outdoor blocking, which means this character can move through outdoor blocking terrain. And it has improved movement move through, which means this character can move through squares occupied by or adjacent to opposing characters without stopping. If they start next to an opposing character, they still have to break away. So add in flight into the mix here. Your character would still have the inherent carry ability, so they can carry smaller characters. And what flight symbol does, we're going to say the people in the top box, they have flight. What that does is it grants the passenger one and the improved abilities that we just looked at, improved movement abilities. That passenger one then kicks in and allows you to carry the same size figures that we looked at on the passenger one slide. Now, what we've looked at so far are the three different ways that you can get carry. You have the inherent ability, you have passenger, you have flight. It's kind of all based on size. So your symbols don't really come into play like they did in the previous rules. Also, you'll notice that none of those things that we looked at said that you adjust your movement, reduce it by anything. That's also something that was in the old rules. It's no longer valid. What we're going to look at here, though, is a couple little key phrases. So everything you've seen so far should give you a basic understanding of how carry works, passenger, and flight. What I want to look at in particular on carry are a couple phrases. Immediately after movement and place. Both of these things come into play. The immediately after movement is when you place that character that you're carrying. So that means you don't wait until whatever your action is resolves. It's whenever your movement is done. Then you immediately place the character adjacent. The second thing to note is the place key phrase here. So place comes into play with other types of game actions and powers and traits. So those things that are looking for place, if a character is carried, when they're put next to the person that carries them, that's a placement, just like TK is a place. Okay, now the powers we're going to look at, we'll look at a few power combinations so you have a basic understanding of that also. So the first three are ones where you can move and then attack. So run and shot, charge, sidestep. If you have the ability to carry a character that has things like empower or enhancement, that pairs well with these abilities. So you could run and shot. If your character that has run and shot has the carry ability, they can take their power action, half their speed, they can move, carrying that adjacent character that does some kind of boost for their attack. After their movement's done, that character that they're carrying immediately gets placed next to them, and then the run and shot character can take their range as free. Same thing on charge, except then it's a closest free. And sidestep, it's free if you have sidestep and the ability to carry. That's a great way to move and get some placement, especially with your enhancement and power support type of characters and characters that can do free actions. So you have lots of characters that might be able to generate a bystander for free, so you can carry them. And since it's a free action, they can do that after being carried. Second one to note is phase and teleport. That's a move action. So you're going to be moving. When you phase, you can carry people with your inherent ability, or if you can phase and fly or phase and passenger, then you can carry that way also. Something to note on hypersonic speed, even though you are moving and then attacking in this power, it does note that you have passenger 0, so you cannot carry when you're using hypersonic speed. Battle Fury is another one to be aware of. What this says is, in addition to the other things that Battle Fury does, the character cannot be carried. So if your character has Battle Fury, it cannot be carried. Even if the other characters have the means to carry them, Battle Fury makes it so that that Battle Fury character cannot be carried. Earthbound Neutralized, a thing to note here, sometimes this gets confusing to players. Earthbound Neutralized is usually a detriment to your figure. It makes it so that your character can't use improved movement or improved targeting abilities. But as you saw when we looked at flight, that grants passenger. Flight is not an improved ability. It grants passenger, plus it grants some improved movement abilities. So your flight still gives you passenger. Your passenger is still in play. So if your character has flight and somehow gets Earthbound neutralized, they can still carry through their passenger ability. Mind control is a pretty fun one. Beginner players usually miss this, but I think most experienced players know that when you mind control your opponent's character, they become friendly to your force. Then mind control has move and attack built into it. So you can attack and then move, or you can move and then attack. All that time until that's done, that character is friendly to your force. So you can use their inherent carry ability. If they have the flight symbol, you can use the passenger to carry other friendly characters. So you can mind control, carry, and then do your attack. If you mind control multiples, that's usually a way that you can get the two mind controlled characters that might be adjacent to each other. One can carry the other depending on how they are able to carry, and then make their attack. And then that one that was carried, it's not taken a non-free action, so it can still do its move and attack after that. So mind control, you can also use it paired up with the carry abilities to change the setup on the map. So a lot of board control in addition to the move and attack part of it. Okay, thanks for watching the video. I hope this gave you a good understanding of how carry, flight, passenger all work together, and some of the basic powers and how they interact with the carry and flight and passenger abilities. All right, thanks for watching. Check out our other videos and let me know what you think in the comments below. Check it out. If you dig what we do, go ahead and like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.